Sleeping Pearl here. Thank you for joining me again. And otherwise, welcome to my channel. Today's video will be completely about air and windy sounds. Pretty elemental. And since I made 2 videos before, like this, the Watersounds and the Matchlight / Fire video, it seemed a good idea to just complete the 4 elements. Also because I will be talking about the Greek Mythology, which is great for elemental little histories. And we got a lot of props that I made myself. I went a little crazy. I had some days off and I was like, how you can represent air or wind? And then I was like, wind chimes or windmobiles. But I didn't want to buy anything special, so I looked around in the house and I found plenty of stuff that I could build something with. So you will see that later on. I'll let you be the judge about that. Then there will be real little wind chimes. This one. But I have to be really careful with this, because I don't want to hurt your ears, of course. I also have this little fan, like that. And I think I will be using this one pretty much. And then I will just let my creativity go, I think. So I cannot tell you exactly what to expect yet. I will see that in the end of what I'm about to try out. Yes, I will also probably breathe a little like this, close in your ear. Really close like that. I guess it's also a way of an air-ish sound. So anyways, let's start the real video now. And let me know what you think. If this was a success or totally weird. So, I hope you will enjoy. Here you see the first object. These little wind chimes. And the funny thing is that the first idea that I had to make an ASMR video about wind as the subject, that it was obvious to me that I had to have wind chimes in it. But I don't own any in an apartment with no terrace or anything, it's not the kind of ornament that you will find in there. So I needed to find a way to get some, but without paying for them. I said to myself, so this one that you see right now was borrowed from friends. It was very coincidental, in fact. When you enter their home, it hangs in the little hall right behind their front door, attached to the ceiling, right above your head. And they got it from a friend themselves as a little gift that he brought from his trip to Japan. And above the little tubes is a tiny turtle, but you can't see it here. But anyway, he said that they had to hang it like that in the hall, so when someone enters and the wind through the door would make it move, the wind chimes would bring you good luck. And it turns out that they are very popular for feng shui. I googled it, where this good luck myth comes from. And in case that you don't know what feng shui is, don't worry. I will not explain you this right now, because I have planned to make an entire video dedicated to feng shui in the future, and I really look forward to making for you. I think there is no rule about how they are supposed to look. They exist in so many different ways. And let me show you some examples. These are made of wood. Very popular here. These are made of copper. Shells. Ceramic. Or glass chimes. And even crystal ones exist. But these are very, very expensive. And some people make their own with other materials. These are made of keys. Here they consist of forks, knives, and spoons. Or these are little caps of bottles. spinners, but unfortunately I don't have any right now. But they can look like this. And they just do like the word itself says. They just spin around when there is wind. I don't think that they make noise, although some of them can, I believe. And they also come in a variety of shapes and colors. Okay, let's go to the next part. Here I placed the microphones really close so that you can hear my breath. Personally, I love when I hear my favorite ASMR artist, like gentle whispering, breathing very close into the microphone. It's like she's really there with me. Do you think I'm really there with you now? Breathing is basically moving air in and out of your lungs. It's just like a breeze of wind, you know. And to control the breathing is to control the mind. With different patterns of breathing, you can fall in love. You can hate someone. You can feel the whole spectrum of feelings just by changing your breathing. You can reduce the stress levels in your life through relaxation techniques like meditation, exercise, and deep breathing. You look and feel way better thanks to it. And remember, breathing through your nose is better than using your mouth. Let me continue playing with my breath while I'll talk a little about the wind in itself. Wind is the flow of gases on a large scale. On the surface of the earth, it consists of the bulk movement in outer space. Solar wind is the movement of gases or charged particles from the sun through space. While planetary wind is the outgassing of light, chemical elements from the planet's atmosphere into space. Winds are commonly classified by their spatial scale and their speed. The types of forces that cause them, the regions in which they occur, and their effect. There are different wind types and terms. I made a little list for you of some of the words and their explanation. The term wind basically means the natural current of air that moves fast enough until you feel it. There are many ways the way the wind can move. A breeze. That's a light wind. Most nicest form of wind that exists, combined with not too hot summer weather, is just perfect. Like a sea breeze. A gust. That's a sudden, strong, short burst of wind. Usually it takes people by surprise, like her. A gale. This is a very strong wind. They are in between 39 and 76 miles an hour. And this is where forecasters start to warn people there are strong winds. Wind shear or wind gradient. This is a difference in wind speed and or direction over a relatively short distance in the atmosphere. And sometimes you can recognize it in the clouds. air from a higher elevation down a slope under the force of gravity. A jet stream. This is a wind, especially one blowing high in the sky, in the upper atmosphere above the earth. You have polar ones and subtropical ones. A storm. This is any disturbed state of an environment and strongly implying severe weather. A storm can involve hail, thunder, lightning, heavy rainfall, or snow, strong winds, ice, etc. There are various types of storms, such as thunderstorm. And this is obviously the type of storm that generates lightning and the thunder. It is normally accompanied by heavy rainfall. Thunderstorms occur throughout the world, with the highest frequency in tropical rainforest regions, where there are conditions of high humidity, temperature, along with atmospheric instability. And the blizzard. A blizzard is accompanied by gale force winds, heavy snow, at least 2 inches per hour, and very cold conditions. An ice storm, when surface temperatures are below freezing, but a thick layer of above freezing air remains aloft. Rain can fall into the freezing layer and freeze upon impact into a glaze of ice. blizzard, but with much heavier snowfall, with almost no visibility. A hailstorm. Here, round chunks of ice fall out of the sky. Hailstorms usually occur during regular thunderstorms. A tropical cyclone or hurricane. It is a rapidly rotating storm system characterized by a low pressure center, a closed, low level atmospheric circulation. So far for the storms, and over to the last wind types that I would like to talk about, which is the whirlwind. This is a weather phenomenon in which a vortex of wind forms due to instabilities and turbulence created by heating and current gradients. Whirlwinds occur all over the world and in any season. And they have various names. Let me give you some. The most common one is the tornado, or you can call it twister. And they can be from not very dangerous to extremely dangerous. And that's why they classify them from F0 to F5. Now we go to my favorite part, the Greek mythology. I just like to remind you that this is my own interpretation. And there is no right or wrong in this. And there was a lot of research to be done, but still, these are just pieces that I brought together. We start as far back as we can. Let's go to the beginning. First, there was the void. primeval state of existence, where all the elements were mixed together. There were only fogs and mists everywhere in this nothingness. The name of the god who represented this, the first god, was chaos. His personal appearance could not be described, as there was no light by which he could be seen. Chaos was the first god who formed the very fabric of the universe. He created Nyx, goddess of the night. She was also the giver of sleep and dreams. The union of chaos and Nyx formed the darkness, known as the god Erebus, Lord of the shadows and the mists. Nyx and Erebus created their opposite counterparts. Hemera, goddess of day, and Ether, god of light. Ether and Hemera themselves created new primordial gods too. One was Gaia, the earth. Second was Pontus, the seas. Third was Tartarus, or the underworld. And fourth was Eros, god of fertility. Ether, the god of heavenly light, and the bright blue ether of the heavens. Basically, the upper sky, filled with its transparent mists, the upper air of the earth, only breathable for the gods. In the evening, Nyx drew the darkness of Erebus like a dark veil across the sky, obscuring the ether and bringing the night. In the morning, Hemera would scatter night's mists at dawn to bring back the god of light. The shining blue ether of day. Both day and night lived in the same home behind the brazen thresholds of Tartarus, never being there at the same time. For when one of them crosses the earth, the other waits at home. And this was the movable image of eternity. Ether is said, only let the gods breathe from the upper air. Gaia decided that there had to be a breathable atmosphere for the mortal world. She created Uranus, primordial god of the sky. He was literally the dawn between heaven and earth. Heaven and earth were now more united than ever, and this resulted in the creation of yet another new generation of gods. The Titans, created by Uranus and Gaia. The second order of divine beings. 6 male and 6 female giants with incredible strength. Although some of them were more indirectly involved with the sky, they did produce a large offspring of gods, included real new sky and wind gods. Let's start with the Titan Hyperion, the new Lord of Light, and Titaness Theia, goddess of brightness, shine, and even gold, silver, and gemstones. They brought forth 3 children. The first one was their son, Helios. He was the personification of the sun, with its beautiful golden chariot pulled by 4 winged divine steeds. He would move the sun across the sky on a daily basis. He had 2 golden palaces. The first one, where he would rise in the morning, and the second one, for when his travel in the sky came to an end and he descended. During the night, a golden boat would bring him back to the first palace. One of the 2 sisters of the sun god Helios was Selene, or rather, the personification of the moon. And then the third child, she became the goddess of dawn. Her name was Eos. Eos, who was born with wings, would rise into the sky from the river Oceanus at the start of each day. She then hastened with active cheerfulness to open the gates of heaven in order to herald the approach of her brother, the god of day, whilst the tender plants and flowers, revived by the morning dew, lift their heads to welcome her as she passed. Eos married later the god Astraeus, god of dusk, son of the titans Crius and Eurybia. Together they created many children who were associated with what occurs in the sky during the twilight hours, like the stars and the planets. For example, Hesperus, the evening star, and his brother Phosphorus, the morning star. But they also had children who represented the wind. Like the animoi. That was their collective name. Each of them corresponding to one of the 4 cardinal directions: north, south, west, east, from which they came. They were the gods of the 4 seasonal winds and various weather conditions. Zephyrus was the god of the west wind, the gentlest of the winds, and known as the fructifying wind, the messenger of spring. He would marry later Iris. Iris is the goddess of the rainbows. And then there was Notice, the god of the south wind and bringer of the storms of late summer and autumn. He was the embodiment of the Sirocco wind, who brought heavy cloud cover and fog and humidity. And then Eurus was the god of the east wind. He was thought to bring warmth and rain. He was known for having a violent temper. The children of Boreas later included Chion or Gion, goddess of the snow, Calais and Zedis, winged twin brothers who could fly as fast as the wind, and the Aurea. These were nymphs of the breezes. Now let's go back a moment to Uranus and Gaia. Without going too much into detail, since we want to keep things nice here, let's say that Gaia asked her Titan children to take over the control of the sky, the earth, and the underworld. This wasn't an easy choice, but eventually her son Cronus, god of eternal time, took over. Cronus created with the Titaness Rhea, goddess of flow, some of the most famous gods that we know today. The first 6 Olympian children. Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Demeter, and Hestia. Cronus soon realized that this new generation of gods would become extremely powerful. He feared to be overthrown by them when they would grow up. And since he was a giant, and the Olympians were much smaller than him, he managed to capture 5 of the 6 Olympian children in his belly by swallowing them. Rhea was able to trick Cronus by replacing Zeus with a stone that looked just like him. And so Zeus grew up in secret until he became a strong, powerful god, ready to attack his father. Zeus forced Cronus to free the captive Olympian gods from their prison. But that wasn't the end of it. Now that all the Olympians were freed, a great 10-year war started between most of the Titans and the Olympians, led by Zeus, each with their allies. The name of this war was the Titanomachy. The war was fought to decide which generation of gods would have domain over the universe. One of the allies of Zeus, the Cyclops,
which were one-eyed giants, forged him his famous thunderbolt, or lightning staff. He now could create all natural phenomena related to the air and the sky, such as storms, tempests, and intense darkness. At his command, mighty thunders would roll, and lightnings would flash, wreaking havoc. Or the skies would open to rejuvenate the earth with life-giving water. It ended in victory for the Olympians finally. Zeus sent the defeated Titans to Tartarus, the underworld. The three brothers, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus, decided to draw lots in order to know who would rule which realm. Hades got the underworld,